watching Bengals Breakdown by Chat Sports, and I'm your host, Stone Shields. Thank you for joining me here today as we take a look at the New York Football Giants, who, of course, the Bengals are going to be squaring off against on Sunday Night Football at about 8:20 or so on Sunday night. We, by the way, will be live for that with our Week 6 watch party, so don't miss out on that. But obviously a massive game for Cincinnati, trying to get their second victory of the season against a football team that on paper they are much better than in the New York Giants. So on today's show, we're going to be spending some time. We're going to go through the injury report. By the way, as the Bengals just wrapped up with practice here on Wednesday, so we're going to take a look at about which guys were out there practicing with the team, which guys were not. Do a little injury preview in terms of who we believe will be out there for this football team on Sunday, as well as look at some keys to victory and a score prediction at the very end as well. So make sure you stick around for that. But also, I want to remind you guys to hit that thumbs up icon if you have not done so already. Hit that like button here for us at Bengals Breakdown. We are in an October like battle against our Baltimore Ravens channel here at Chat Sports. Joey Peterson and company, who we are going up against. We took care of them in August. They took care of us in September. So we're looking to get the one up here in the month of October. So give us a like on today's video, as you should for all of our videos here at Bengals Breakdown. Start with some roster moves that the Bengals made yesterday. Starting cornerback Dax Hill, former first-round pick, suffered a torn ACL, as we documented on yesterday's show, and he's going to be out for the remainder of the 2024 season. Placed on IR here recently, and I've said it's a major hit for the Bengals. He really was coming into his own, making that transition from safety over to the cornerback spot, and was really a bright spot on the Cincinnati Bengals defense, and they are going to be without him. And another move that kind of followed this news of putting Dax Hill on IR, they're signing Micah Abraham to the practice squad. Not the active roster, but the practice squad. He joins guys like Jalen Davis, who was called up for last week's game. Nate Brooks, also a cornerback on the Bengals practice squad. This is a guy that was picked in the 6th round of this year's draft by the Indianapolis Colts, but he did get waived in the offseason. He hasn't been a part of a football team since that point. So the Bengals bringing him on. This is a guy that has some talent. Again, was a 6th-round pick in 2024, so I don't expect to see him anytime soon, barring any other injuries to some defensive backs on this football team. But that was one of the moves that Cincinnati made yesterday. We'll keep it here with the cornerback position. The Bengals announced that DJ Ivey is cleared to practice. DJ Ivey, of course, the 7th-round pick in 2023, played his last season of college football at Miami, and he was having a really nice rookie campaign. Kind of surprised people that he was able to make the roster. Really carved out a nice role for himself for Darren Simmons' special teams unit. And I'm really excited to have DJ Ivey back. We'll see if he's able to go anytime soon. He hasn't officially been removed from the PUP list, but he is cleared to practice, and he's a guy I think has a lot of upside. He could potentially help fill that spot of Dax Hill, who, of course, is not going to be with the team playing for the rest of the season. That leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. Do the Bengals need more cornerback help? Obviously, the return of DJ Ivey appears to be soon, adding somebody on the practice squad as well, but are you looking for more of that for this football team? Let us know at the pinned comment of today's video. Type Y for yes or N for no. And if that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section and let us know what you think. Another roster move here for Cincinnati. Jaxson Kirkland was placed on IR, tore his bicep against Baltimore this past weekend. Kirkland really had a great preseason and training camp, really vaulted his way onto the roster. He was a guy going into training camp, you didn't know exactly what his role would be, but it became very clear that he was going to make this football team, and unfortunately, he's going to be out for the season with that torn bicep. I really viewed him as kind of their best backup offensive lineman. I certainly thought he was a lot better than Cody Ford, and unfortunately, the Bengals are going to be without him for the remainder of the season. And the last roster move that is paired with that is the Bengals are signing Andrew Stueber to their active roster. So I expect him to be ready to go come game day here in New York on Sunday night. Stueber, a couple of years ago, was a 7th-round pick by the Patriots, spent some time on the Falcons practice squad as well. And he's a guy that, if something happens, somebody gets banged up, he might be called into duty for this Cincinnati Bengals football team. Amarius Mims suffered that ankle injury last week against Baltimore. Had to leave the game. It was, I believe, the first drive of the second half, but with a couple of minutes remaining, he was able to re-enter in the fourth quarter, and he appears to be okay. He did practice today. Not sure if he was limited or not. Again, really love Amarius Mims, Bengals, of course, first-round pick here in 2024. So hopefully he is good to go. We certainly will see. But obviously a significant injury there. And if, he perhaps wasn't able to go, maybe you're looking at a guy like Andrew Stueber getting really forced into action immediately. But hopefully Mims is good to go. All right, we'll keep it going here with the injury news on today's show. Zack Moss kind of suffered that nasty turned ankle last week against Baltimore. I was surprised he was honestly able to come back in that game. Obviously, the adrenaline certainly played a factor in that. Bengals running back. Slow start to the season for Moss, but he's really come along for Zach Taylor and this offense. He did not practice today. I still remain hopeful that we will see him on Sunday night. It was reported shortly after the game that it wasn't a serious ankle issue, so I think we can expect to see Zack Moss sooner rather than later, but he did not practice today for Cincinnati. Some really good injury news here. Sheldon Rankins did practice today. We have not seen Rankins since week 2 when he got hurt against the Kansas City Chiefs, suffered that hamstring injury, and it looks like all signs are pointing towards the direction of him playing on Sunday Night Football, which obviously would be a massive boost for Lou Anarumo's defense. Look, this group right here, the interior of the defensive line, they really played a lot better against Baltimore on Sunday. Weren't able to necessarily get home, but certainly much better than they have been in previous weeks, speaking of the Carolina game and especially the Washington game. So if they can get Rankins back this week, that would only help kind of the improvement that we saw last week from this group. Mike Hilton, of course, did not play against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. He did practice today. That is great news. Dealing with a knee issue. Really is a leader on this football team. Plays that nickel spot for Cincinnati. And hopefully he's going to be good to go for this game against the New York Giants, coming back playing that nickel spot. Jalen Davis was called up from the practice squad. He filled in that area quite a bit last week. Suppose you saw Josh Newton do that as well. The Bengals are really hoping to have Mike Hilton back on Sunday, and in practicing today, certainly think that is a good sign for that to happen. Another opportunity for you guys to get interactive with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. Will Mike Hilton play on Sunday? Let us know what you think in the comments section. Type A for yes or B for no in the comments. Let us know what you think. Will Mike Hilton play on Sunday for Cincinnati against the New York Giants? Before we continue with our show today and get into some keys to victory here, we're going to give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time because they are the sponsor of today's show. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is the easiest way to find and buy tickets to live events. Tickets for this Sunday Night Football game against the New York Giants are on sale if you want to make the trip out to the Meadowlands and see Cincinnati or perhaps Cleveland next week, or you just waiting for Cincinnati to come back home and play the Philadelphia Eagles. You can wait and you can get those tickets as well at Game Time. My two favorite features on Game Time are the views from your seat. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. Also, the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature on allows you to see your total up front so you don't get hit with any surprise fees at checkout like some of those other ticketing companies can get you with. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, here are some keys to victory here for Cincinnati. First being, do not let Malik Neighbors kill you. All right, it is very clear that this rookie wide receiver is exceptional, and he's going to be a force in this league for a really long time. Neighbors, by the way, didn't play last week for the Giants in their victory against Seattle, dealing with a concussion. But all signs are pointing in the direction of him playing on Sunday night. And obviously, he really can take the top off of defense. He's done a great job of that already, but the Bengals also have to be careful about Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson's gotten a ton of catches so far this year, and he really can hurt defenses underneath. He's only averaging, I think, like 4 yards per reception in terms of where he catches it on the field. But he's doing a really nice job for Brian Daboll in that offense. So the Bengals got to keep an eye on those two guys. Linebackers going to have to play big, and obviously the DBs as well. Someone's got to man up and cover Malik Neighbors. Second key to victory. The offensive line has got to keep it up in this football game. The offensive line's been really good this year, and I think that's part of the reason why Joe Burrow is having such a good year. When you're looking at who the offensive line is going to be going against, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, all really, really good football players. Look, that defense has 22 sacks this year for the Giants. That is the most in the NFL in that category, and that's the second in Giants history for the most sacks through 5 games. The Giants got to Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith 7 times in last week's victory and knocked down Deshaun Watson before that 8 times. And per PFF, the Giants have converted 36% of quarterback pressures into sacks, which is the highest rate in the NFL. So this Bengals group absolutely has their work cut out for them. Hopefully they are up to the challenge. Hopefully Amarius Mims is going to be good and ready to rock in this game. And it's going to be a big spot for the rookie holding down that right side. And interior-wise, the Giants are really going to try to pressure the guards of Cincinnati, Kappa and Volson in the center, of course. Ted Karras really going to have to step up and play big in this game for Zach Taylor's football team. What is your concern level going against the Giants' defensive line? It's one of the best, if not the best, in football. They do a tremendous job on that side of the ball, that line in particular. So let me know in the comment section. Scale it for me 1 to 10. What is your concern level going against the Giants' defensive line? This was a key to victory last week as well, and it very well, if the defense keeps playing the way they do, it might need to be a key to victory here on out. Joey Burrow has to stay hot for this Cincinnati Bengals football team. Look, he has been the best quarterback in the National Football League besides week 1. He has been absolutely locked in. He said in his press conference today he feels he is playing the best football of his career. Obviously, he wishes that he had a little bit more to show for it in terms of victories. Obviously, that interception that happened at the end of the game against Baltimore has got to be nagging at him as well. But the Bengals right now are not in a spot where they can afford him to not play great. They're going to need him to be special once again on Sunday night, and I remain confident that that will be the case. Last key to victory, got to hit Daniel Jones. Look, Daniel Jones gets a lot of crud for, how he plays, but he looked pretty good last week against the Seattle Seahawks, and the Bengals have to find a way to get to him. I thought they did a better job trying to get to Lamar Jackson last week, but Jackson obviously is a really slippery guy, super fast, and they weren't really able to get home. Hubbard did have a sack, and they had the big safety as well. That was massive. But I think they did a better job pressuring the quarterback. And Daniel Jones, albeit he's very quick as well, might be a little bit easier to get down, and obviously he's not the same caliber of quarterback as Lamar Jackson. So this unit has to do a great job. Sam Hubbard is really going to have to step up once again. Hopefully last week is kind of a sign of things to come for Hubbard. I think a lot of people wrote Hubbard off, but he looked really, really good again in that game against Baltimore. So hopefully that is a sign of those things to continue to happen for Cincinnati. Myles Murphy, his first game back. There were some times where he was chasing after the quarterback. My biggest takeaway is he looked a little slow, so that was kind of a little bit concerning there at that edge spot. But bottom line, this defensive line's going to have a big game against Daniel Jones. If they can get Sheldon Rankins back in particular, I think we're going to see improvement once again from this group on Sunday night. And speaking of Sunday night, of course, we will be live here on Bengals Breakdown for our Week 6 watch party. Probably going to be live around 7:30, somewhere in there. It's going to be 8:20 kick. So don't miss out on that. We've had a lot of fun this year on our watch parties. Haven't gotten the results we've been looking for quite yet, but remain optimistic that things are going to change around for this football team. So hit that sub button so you don't miss out at youtube.com/BengalsTV. Finally, my score prediction here for Sunday Night Football. I've got the Bengals getting it done, 29-27. So a lot of points for an NFL game, but less points than what we've been seeing in terms of the games that the Bengals have been playing in. And I do think the defensive line of New York is going to slow down the Cincinnati offense a little bit, but they're still essentially going to hang a 30-piece nugget on New York. And big game for Cincinnati. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use the must-win card, but it feels pretty much like a must-win game here going on the road against New York on Sunday Night Football. Actually, while we're here, we're calling it a must-win game. It's absolutely a must-win game for Cincinnati. I've got Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, and company getting it done by a score of 29-27.